got the giggles now. Right. This is the Carol Everett Healing Sanctuary again, and the sacred site. And what I believe, I always say I believe, because at the end of the day, it's very difficult to prove things. So you have to say, I assume, I believe. But I do believe truly that this is the porthole and the actual center now of going into the other worlds. The energies on this site are so thick. In this room, you come in here and it's so thick and it's so peaceful. And it was funny because earlier on today, I was thinking where I worked before in England, that was also on a ley line. The same guy that told me about that, although I didn't know it was on a ley line, but I seemed to pick the places. In fact, I don't just pick them, I draw the picture of the places, then I'm led to it, but I don't know that it's on a ley line. It's quite interesting, because the house that you came to in Pounds Hill, remember, Kim?
Yes, Exeter, yes.
That was on a ley line, and it was only afterwards that Rory Duff, who does the dowsing, who's really successful now, I drew the place of this on 2 days before the estate agent even showed us the property. It was new. Nobody had even seen it. It was in the middle of nowhere. And I always ask a question. I always say, please, can you help me? Please, can you give me a drawing? Please, can you guide me? And then whatever comes out, I do it. And this place was exact. The estate agent, I thought she was going to faint.
Yeah.
She goes, because I said, oh, just a minute, I'm just going to go and check on the back seat. And I pulled out this drawing. And there was the big tree. There was all the windy roads. There was all the trees. There was oh my God, Kim. I mean, she looked at it and she looked at me and she goes, when did you do that?
Oh, no.
I goes, beginning of the week. Oh my God. She said, you must be psychic. This is your house. This is your house. I'm going to make sure you get this house. It was so funny. But what I'm saying is, not getting off the beaten track, because I haven't introduced, this is Kim Mendez from London, and this is Carol Everett in Spain. But you know what? So what? This is how we do it, isn't it?
Yes.
But it's interesting that the same energies, the same things guide us. Do you know what I mean? Once you get into that mindset of asking in the right way, but in the right place, and like getting back to the ley lines and the energies and everything, it's strange how the same pattern, the drawing, led me to the house. Then I found out it was on the ley lines. The same thing here. You see what I mean?
The energy was drawing you there.
It's the energies. And getting back to the subject tonight, which the subject tonight is aliens, but getting back to the subject tonight, I realised, because you don't always realise until, you know, when you're younger, you don't realise until you're older some of the experiences that you've had, do you?
Yes. And what happened and leading you to a certain place.
Yeah, and it's always the same things that have happened to me, always the same set of events, always the same feelings and senses that have drawn me into something. And sometimes against all the odds, you know, all the odds, you know, unbelievable stuff. And when I look back on it now, you know, I realise that it is never just one thing and never just one energy that is guiding you through your life. It's how you evolve And as you evolve and get higher in your own abilities to reach higher, then you reach a higher energy then with higher information. And this is when it gets confusing to people. Because people say, oh, aliens, you know, they're going to come down and attack us and take us all over. Well, excuse me, there's plenty of that going on all over the place.
Well, yeah.
You know, and what are they? We are alien to one another. Our behaviour is such that we can't live with one another. Do you see what I mean? But we're all on the same planet. But it's different energies and different mindsets. I totally believe in my gut instincts because it's always led me well in my work. It's always led me well to help people more. Do you see what I mean? And it's always helped me more for the good. So why would that be any energy, any force that would be bad? You know, it's not like I've got machine guns and machetes in the shed. You see what I mean? Our lifestyle reflects what we connect to. And this is it. And this is where people get confused. And this is where you need to be around people that are similar to yourself, you know, with your own thoughts, so that you can talk about this. You know, there's always in life, you know, there's always this scare thing, you know,
fear.
The fear. That's, you know, there's always something beautiful made into something bad because of the controversial thing, or because maybe simply that in the elements, in the earth, in the sky, in the sea, there's more healing abilities than in the old laboratories and you know, all the pharmaceuticals ever. You see what I'm saying? Nobody likes simple. Nobody likes simple if they are making money out of complicated.
But even farther, they're taking the plants from, originally it's from the plants, isn't it, that they're taking the medicine. So it's still that, hopefully. Isn't it? It's still...
well, it's everything simple and then they make it complicated. They've got to add something to it. Do you see what I mean?
But with what you've built up there in your sanctuary is just from you going in and doing the healing, and you've created this atmosphere, I think, isn't it? That you've created.
Well, this is it. This is what I was saying earlier. In Pounds Hill, it was this not as strong as this, though. No, never as strong as this one. But I used to go to work. And whatever room I was working in, nothing else ever went in there, only me. And I used to shut the door. And then when I used to go back in there, I opened the door and it was like, hello. You know. And this place is much more solid, grounded, and stronger. Now, getting back to the subject tonight of aliens and the different questions that people ask, I can only answer from what's happened to me and honestly my point of view. Now, somebody else might think something different, but if you read on the prediction page that I wrote in 2000, when was it now, Mike? 20. Oh, I don't know. It's on the website. I can't think when I'm doing this because I'm not in the thinking brain now. But basically, the world has ended as we know it. And it has, hasn't it? The world as we know it has ended. It hasn't ended typically, but the world that we used to know is rapidly changing. So the world that we know is ended.
I know, that's what just people so much, though.
Yes, but you see, people think, oh, the world is ended. The end of the world is nigh. No, read the things properly. I've noticed that when I get messages, it's like cryptic. It's like cryptic, and it's understood when it's the right time for you to know.
All right. Yes.
Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, some of these prophets, you know, Nostradamus and well, Arthur C. Clarke, a lot of the who was the other one? The Wrights brothers, you know, the aeroplanes and all that, and Leonardo da Vinci. They were all ahead of their time. They were all in contact with something.
Yes.
But you see, there again, contact with what?
Yeah.
Right, there's all different countries down here, and they've all got their own rules and regulations. Think of it as another parallel universe. There's all different countries down here. They've all got different colours, different cultures, different languages. So how do you know?
Yeah.
The
It's the
same.
same. Yes.
It's the same. And from my experience, there's the lower ones, which are the angry. I drew it's not up there at the moment, but I drew some pictures of aliens, and one was, I have shown it before. Wait a minute, is it under there? Wait 2 seconds.
Okay. Because your drawings are from, you just...
No, but interestingly enough, now you see, I just go with the flow. You see that?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
It's a scroll.
Yes.
And you see?
Yeah, but the language
And
at the
that
bottom.
scroll,
Yeah.
I did in 92.
Gosh.
Now that is now, I'm looking at that scroll, and it's all about finding. So coming into, I'm looking at that scroll now. So coming into the time now, it's all about finding ancient arts, things underneath the earth,
yes.
underground places, animals, different animals that have come back into different sizes. It's all, you know, I've put that up there because even though that was in 92, that's just come out of my files to come up on there.
Yeah, gosh.
You see what I mean?
So we're finding things in the earth.
Yeah, and it's the same with my aliens. You know, the aliens, the first time I think that I was sensing the aliens was around about the same time that I had created a portal in my mind. Obviously, I was this way inclined before I was born because I just knew what to do.
Yes.
So it was obvious. So it wasn't just the aliens, it wasn't just the higher energies. It was like there was all these different energies and forces around me that collected around me and helped me when I was in not a very good state.
Yes.
So when I was frightened.
Yeah.
You see, so basically they came in and then they went for a while. It's like, I'm going to try and stick to the aliens at the moment because I think the other force has always been there with me all the time. The aliens haven't.
Yeah.
I think the aliens, their biggest thing is telepathy.
Oh, yes,
you know, that's the strongest thing that they have got.
There's no language, you just think.
Yeah, and you can, and when you sense them and when you see them in the room, you can almost inhale their words.
Yeah, gosh.
You know, it's like, boom. And it's interesting because now they're more around me again. The telepathy, let me just tell you something the other day, which is very apt, that they are much more in my mind in the telepathic. My telepathy is much stronger.
Yeah.
And it's getting much stronger.
Yeah.
I was out with my friend and we always park in the same place on a Saturday morning, right?
Oh, yeah.
Go into the shops, go into the cafe. We've got our own little routine. Anyway, this time there was nowhere to park. But because I'm so used to going in the shop that way and coming out and her being parked there, you know, when you're so used to it,
Yeah.
I went in the shop, come out, turned right, started walking, and I heard her
Oh
in
no.
my head,
Oh God.
Carol. And I turned round, and of course, I saw her car, and I started. Because I said, "Thanks for calling." She said, "I never."
Oh no.
She said, "I never called you," but I thought, "Oh, Carol,
Oh no.
you see what
Fantastic.
I mean?"
Yeah, you picked it up. Yes.
And I know that from that they are getting more closer to
Yeah.
me.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I know it seems a simple thing to say, but also I find that when I do demonstrations and I've got a room full of people, you know, and I shut my left hand brain down and go
Yeah.
to the right, that's how I do everything.
Yes.
Now I can feel, because I've had 3 weeks off as well from working,
Oh
and it's
yeah.
like I'm absolutely full of it. Now, when we went out, when was it? We said we were having a little holiday last week from home, so we
Oh yeah.
went out and I had a dance. Mike don't like dancing, but
Oh
I
yeah.
like dancing. So I'm jigging away. Anyway, so I'm all happy and it's dark. Uh-oh,
Yeah.
it's always the dark. So
Oh
I
yeah.
sat down and something has to program me. Something has to program me. If the right circumstances, so if I've got my head like that and then it's dark and then somebody is in need,
Oh yeah.
and I don't do that when I go out. I never normally do that.
Mm.
But it was just, I was full of it. And I put my hand on this woman's knee, who was a little bit upset about something. And then as I went like that, uh-oh,
Oh,
out it all came. And funny enough, I had a dream the other night. I woke up and I said to I goes, oh my God. I said, I don't know where I was. I said, this was before that happened. I
yeah.
said, it was just like it was when I was a little girl. I was terrible, you see. I didn't know, did I? I just used to go
Yeah. Yeah.
like that and then go like that and go tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I told him what happened. He goes, well, who were you talking to? I said, well, I don't know, do I? I said it. And anyway, I thought, uh-oh, I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready. I'm getting full of it for downloading, which I'm going to do in a minute now.
Yeah.
But don't you see? It's all with the energies, the alien ones, the high ones.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, and the ones that I've connected to, apparently, only what I was told when I woke up in the middle of the night, that there's not, I can't, what was it's difficult to remember. It was like, they only pick certain people. The higher ones don't come down, the really high ones don't come down, and in real extreme circumstances,
Oh, yeah.
they basically leave us to get on with it, and they only pick certain people, was what
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard.
Yeah. Gosh.
And I thought, oh, I hope it's not me,
Yeah. Well, it is.
because I thought, I don't want the responsibility. Anyway, but what I'm saying is, it's like, you know, when you're getting ready for, you know, like when you're in the theatre and
Yeah.
everything's, the stage is all set, all the props are set,
But yes.
everyone's got ready, and then the show begins. You
Yeah.
know that feeling, you've done it for
Yes.
years.
Yes.
And it's like this place, is a got all ready for something. Don't
Oh, yeah.
forget, our lifetime and the alien lifetimes. I mean, we think that 100 years old is old, but
Yeah, I
that's
was,
nothing to
yeah,
them.
going to ask you that, what their lifespan was.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we're saying, oh, you know, we're this age and we're that age, and they're looking at us and thinking, why are you impatient waiting? No, it's all right for them.
Yeah.
You know, you see, and that's another thing. The higher up you go with them, their age is less of a thing. It's almost as if it's really not existent.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
when I always say about the place and no time,
Oh, yes.
it's like they are past that point.
Oh, yeah.
They are past that point of age, of time. So, you know, it's not, oh, it's your birthday this year or anything like that. Do you see what I mean?
So they're drifting in existence.
It's just like, I'll get some download on it in a minute and
Do
see what's what.
they telepathically communicate to each other?
They telepathically communicate with the level, and that's another thing. If you think about it, they telepathically connect with the people on their species on their own level. It's like
Oh,
you couldn't suddenly start talking Japanese, could you?
yeah, no. I see
You
what
see
you
what I
mean.
mean?
Yeah.
It's like they communicate with the minds. It's all about minds. It's all about minds, telepathy, the power of the mind, the ability to allow them in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And depending on who you are as a person and how evolved your brain is, depends on which ones you connect to. And
I
this
see.
is why all this confusion about saying about, you know, all the aliens are bad. It's like saying, well, you might as well just say then all people are bad, which is not
Yeah.
true, is it?
No, no, exactly. You can never generalize. Yeah. But knowing these different stratas is interesting. And also what you connect with yourself as to one's own ability mentally. It's interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't call them, and that's another thing. They pick you.
Yeah. Gosh. What does one
They
know if
like
one's
you.
been picked?
They like you. They do, but then you like them, don't
Yeah, I
you?
do. I do. Yes. Yes. I love the thought that they're around and hopefully helping, because I think, so we need a bit of help. Don't we? And it fascinates me that they're wanting to make contact. And
You see, the thing is, and it's like the crop circles. You know, people say, are they genuine or are they fake? It's like everything.
yeah,
Some of them are genuine and some of them aren't.
yeah,
But you know, it's interesting because if you look at the pyramids and how they were built and in the time that they were built and the way that they were all measured,
yes,
how on earth did
yeah,
we do it?
yeah,
But no
impossible.
one seems to sort of like, not, well, some people do, but not many people seem to
Can-
sort of equate that it must have been
No,
something else.
yeah, exactly. Yes,
It's
yeah,
like if you look at the pyramids and then you go to the total extreme to the ants. Look at the ants.
oh yes. I'm so busy building.
Look how they do things. And the
Yes,
bees.
yes,
You see, I think that if you, when I go forward, because I go backwards and forwards with my mind, I either go forwards into tomorrow's world and see what I see there, or I go backwards, whichever I want to do with it. It's like turning on the TV and turning over the
mm,
channels.
mm,
But when I go forward, a lot of the species, the tiny species that are here now, small, like like ants and wasps and all tiny little insects.
mm,
Something happens on the way into the future where all these are different.
All right.
But they're not, they're all more, and there again, they are all more telepathic, and they're all working together.
Mm.
It's really strange. But I think that what's happening now, the way it is now, I think that the intervention of the ones that don't normally, I'll see what happens in a minute. I'm just waiting
Yeah.
to see. Because I don't know what I'm going to come out with, you see. This is the problem.
Do you
And
think
then
it's
I think, oh no, what did I say?
I always think things don't happen by accident. And do you think this period now is intended? That this, what we're going through now, is intended?
I think it's a transition.
Oh yeah.
Right, let's see. I'll see if I can read it. I either read it or write it.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know what's coming yet.
Yes.
In every lifespan is also another lifespan in another dimension. Going through the porthole, there are at least 5 different levels of lifespans on different planets. These are not all connecting to one another at this time, but they are getting closer to one another and circling the Earth's atmosphere at a much faster rate of coming closer and closer to observe us. In the top of this life force is the hierarchy, as we say. The hierarchy is the very, very top of human, from human to human, and onto another existing life force. We think we came here first. We were not first. We were among a lot of second people coming down that were integrated from another source together. We did not integrate together. This was instigated before we arrived on this planet. The hierarchy, the full knowledge of how the world began and what the purpose was, is from the highest source, the higher aliens, as they are called. But the higher ones of all have not got a name.
Mm.
You haven't. What's the matter? You haven't. You're looking a little bit.
No, taking it in. Yes. Gosh. So there's a sort of an order right up. So you're in touch with the hierarchy in a way.
Right, let's see. So, what then are we meant to do with our minds that are now not progressing on this earth? They are stagnating. They are full of violence, confusion, fear. The normal minority of normal people that just want a normal life, they are getting trampled on by the others. The fear, the anger, the violence, the need to control everything. It's all about control, greed, not need anymore. So the highest ones of all are actually there for you to communicate with on another level. You have to have the mindset, the brain, to believe that we are not the only ones that are able to exist and also be a part of human life if they want to, which means that they can.
Yes.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's like humanity is being conditioned into a different format at the moment. We're leaving our old genetic pathway into something else.
Well, the way of the world, the way it goes, it always evolves, doesn't it? But before it evolves and goes into a new phase, it has to be an end of the old one. This is never easy. This cannot be just straightforward, but it can be a lot easier if people accept that it is necessary and it is better for us all to break away from the behaviour patterns and the way we live. And in our minds, first, it's our minds that need to accept this. In doing this, we can come together, join together in groups and meditate and bring a stronger life force in for ourselves. It will bring in a much stronger, longer life force, enabling us to live longer and live healthier with the energies we draw in from the higher planets. So it sounds like that the ones that are more and more and more into being part of this higher existence will live longer, and the others will die off as they die off.
But it's almost since this beginning of this decade that this change has been announced, and was that meant to happen? Was that intended, or is it that
what was intended?
Sort of this genetic change that's been put upon us, was that intended as this transformation is meant to be happening?
The way our genetics were not intended to be that way. They have changed because of man's behaviour, mainly because of the greed in trying to disenable the people, so they need more and more help rather than enabling them to help themselves. In other words, the bodies were designed to heal themselves, and the natural abilities of each person were within themselves to help themselves. The ability to take the goodness from the earth and grow the things that were needed in the earth, and take the goodness out of the sun, the sea, the earth, they were the roots, the main things that we needed. This has all changed. It needs to go back again. It needs to go back and be simple. And the only way it can go back and be simple is by people themselves starting this themselves, starting growing their own things, looking into their own research, what they can make pure themselves, cheaply, simply. We don't need all this pharmaceutical, all this synthetic made. We don't need it. It was not designed, never designed for us to need all this. It will go back to that again as the environment will change totally. Everything will change totally, so that we will, in a way, have to do this, but it will be better for us.
And the animals too. I always think this is an animal kingdom. Was that right?
Well, the animal kingdom, you see, there again, they were, it was the animal kingdom as we live off the earth. The animals were designed, unfortunately, that's how it was. You know, the cat runs after the mouse.
Yes,
You know what I
yes.
mean? But it
yes.
was only ever to survive.
Yes.
Not only to survive, only enough to survive, not
Yeah.
to extinguish all
Yes.
the species.
Yes.
They didn't. They just took enough to eat for them to survive.
Yes.
You see what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yes. But now, can we get back to that? Can we?
The smaller animals will grow. The smaller animals will become the leaders. The bigger animals will start to become extinct. The really large animals will not be able to be fed properly for a while. This will lead to the smaller ones getting bigger and the really small ones getting bigger. There will be a new species, a new race of animals, as there will be a new race of people. We asked.
Yes. And AI, is this also an alien factor? Is that going to be mixed in with human?
Seeing as the alien factor was already there first, what makes you think they are not in us already?
Yeah.
But you know, it's not, they're not fully developed in, you know what I mean? It's only just there again. I think some people are more like that already. Some people are more, you know, it's like, you know, you say some people are ahead of their time and things, don't you?
Yeah. Yes.
Quite honestly, when people go on about the aliens and how horrible they are, I think, well, you know, I don't think they're too enamored. No wonder they haven't wanted to come back.
No. But is that's
I
because
think it's human nature, some people's human nature, to blame everyone else for their bad behaviour.
I am. Yes.
Don't you?
Yes. But it seems that we haven't progressed as we should have. Do you think?
I think, like I said earlier, well, like we said earlier, you can't change
No.
the cycles.
Yeah.
They will change, as so did the shape of the humans change. And as they will shape again, they will change shape again.
So
And as we don't, and as what we eat is what we become.
Yes.
And being and looking at the pictures that I see for the future, what we consume and what keeps us alive is not half a cow. Do you see what I mean?
Yes. But do you think you're in touch more with aliens now because we're needing that direction? We're needing.
I think it's. I think probably we were going to be leading in that direction anyway. It depends on air behavior, which ones, you see,
Oh yeah, yeah, I see.
lead.
Yes. Yes. So how we think, how we behave, we attract on that level.
You see, well, all I know is that I've never used my gift other than anything to help people.
Yeah.
I've always made sure that I haven't abused it. People say,
Yes.
"Oh, why don't you do the pools and all that?" Because it never felt right, and I did it once. I remember for a horse race, and I thought, "Oh, I'll see what happens," and I didn't feel right about doing it.
Yeah.
And the last 3 that I put in come first, second, and third
Okay.
were the last on the end.
Oh yeah.
So I thought, no, that teaches you.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's interesting. If they could give me the last 3, why couldn't they give me? Because they give me the last 3 that came in. What's the chances of that?
Yes. Yes. You're using it incorrectly. Your gift. Yes.
Yes. And I thought,
Yeah.
if they could have given me that, why didn't they give me that? But I didn't feel, to be
No,
honest, I didn't feel right.
no. It wasn't for the power of good. And yes.
It's like when people try and control a gift, any gift, it won't work.
No.
A gift is a gift, and it grows as it grows. It grows as you work with it. You know
Yeah.
that yourself.
Yeah.
You work at it, then you work at a different technique. I mean, the technique that I'm working with now is quite fascinating. I have to experiment. I mean, I've
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
said to a little alien, when you haven't felt very well, and I
Yeah.
said, "Do
I
you
love
feel
the name.
better?" I
Yeah.
know,
I love him.
but I don't. I don't sort of sit here and direct aliens anywhere. It's not like that. But then I do feel that there's more light coming in here.
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen them in the house.
Oh yeah.
One really tall one,
Or
and
toy,
I know
toy
how
set.
tall it was because it was by the curtain rail,
Yeah.
and I woke up, and it's always about 3 o'clock in the morning when you see these things.
Oh,
And I woke up, oh crikey, and I can't explain what it feels like. It's like you're frozen. I mean, it's like in between a frightened feeling and an excited feeling,
oh, yeah. Yes.
And I saw,
Not
and I
something you
looked
see
up and
every
I
day.
thought, and then I could feel it. I could feel what it was saying.
Oh yeah.
I could, and like I said to you, it's like you go like that and you're inhaling it in your mind.
Yeah.
It's
Fantastic.
not like sitting down and having a conversation like this.
Yes.
And I could feel it. I could feel it. And it was saying, don't worry, the time, it was like it was saying, don't worry, it's the time that you're going to be talking about this. And I thought, I'm not. Because years ago, I had 2 more experiences at different times that they came in, and then they sort of left me alone. They came in when, or it must have been about when I came back from Japan, and I had this woman, I can't say her name because
Yeah.
it's famous people, but she came down from London, and I looked at her shoulder. Oh, what a mess.
Mm.
And she was crying, and she was married to this famous horse breeder. Anyway, I said to her, she said, can you do anything about it? She said, because I can't ride anymore.
Mm.
She said, I'll never ride again. She got a pin in it and pin up there.
I see.
Anyway, I said, you know what? I don't know. I said, I can see if I can try something different. And as I said it, I could have to explain it as it happened. I didn't tell her because I think she'd have run out. You know, she was already, I was her last port of call.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Desperate. She'd heard of me and she was desperate. Anyway, it was like I totally stood back outside myself as if I was watching, like I do in here all the time now. But I stepped back like that and I was watching, and she was like laid on this bed, really bright. I remember it was all bright lights. It was hurting my eyes. She was laid on this bed, and this figure went over, all in white, like whitey grey. Well, I have to say, like an alien, and it was just putting all these sort of lights on her arm, like do 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 like that, and I'm just like
watching.
well, yeah, watching, but like asleep. I can't
I
explain.
see.
It's like I was asleep.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just fix. You know. Anyway, what happened afterwards? Because she couldn't move her arm properly at the time. She said, "Look, I can only get it up that far." She said, "No way, I'm ever going to ride a horse." I said, "Well, look, you know what? You don't know." So anyway, when I finished, I didn't tell her what I'd seen because I thought, you know, she's going to run down the stairs, and I never did tell her. Anyway, she went like that with her arm. She goes, "Oh, I can move my arm."
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, "Well, that's good." And she said, "Can I come back again?" I goes, "Well, actually," I said, "you can come tomorrow if you want," because she traveled a long way.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I did it again, and it was the same thing again, but I was used to it. I went, you know, it's like I was just in there. I wasn't bothered, you know, the next time. But the long and the short of it was, she emigrated, or not emigrated, she was going off to New Zealand, and she, I can't remember if she phoned me or wrote to me now because it was a long time ago, but riding, they couldn't believe it, riding
Fantastic.
horses. Now,
Fantastic.
whether the pin was still there, I expect so, but
Oh,
it
yeah.
was like everything was manipulated around the
Oh,
pin,
yeah.
you know,
Oh, yes. So the
like as if
muscles
it was moved
easy.
up. And
Yeah.
that was that. That was that one. And then there was when I was on my way to a television program, and I was really nervous, an interview, and I was meditating, and then I could feel myself floating off, and it was the same thing again. My ear, I always get a itchy in my ear.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently, when I was speaking to somebody about aliens, they said it's always your left ear. I goes, no, it wasn't. I said it was my right ear.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, I said to Mike, there's something in my ear. And I said, I'm going for that interview tomorrow. And anyway, he said, what is it? I said, I don't know. I said, it's horrible. So I laid my head on the table in the kitchen. He'd got this syringe, filled it up. I mean, he's not exactly, he used to do diving, and that's how he used to clean his ear out.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
not
Oh, yeah.
exactly a gentle surgeon. Anyway, so he was filling my, and I goes, stop it. I said, it's not doing anything. Because it must be. He said, there's something in here. He said, this is suck it out. I goes, right, I've had enough. Anyway, I said, leave me alone. He said, is it any better? I said, no. Anyway, I thought, right. So I went back to bed, and I had the feeling, I thought, I know what it is. They're going to help me. I knew when I got calm, I knew what it was. They were going to help me. in my head and be calm when I went for
yeah.
this interview.
Oh, yeah.
As it happened, I turned it down anyway because I didn't
Oh,
like it. But it was funny because I went in, took my jacket off, sat down, and they said, "Oh, we hear that you draw pictures of murderers." I said, "Well, I can't draw one now, can I? Because there hasn't been a murder. I can't just conjure one up, you know." And they laugh, you know. I was just like,
yes.
and I just sailed through it,
Yeah.
absolutely sailed through it. And on the way home, Mike said, "How's your ear? I haven't heard you moaning about
Oh,
it."
yeah.
Because it's gone.
Oh, yes. So it's for
And
the,
that was when they said they wanted to know about the reproductive system because their bodies had changed and they hadn't changed on the inside and they couldn't reproduce. And they wanted to know how reproductive system worked. And when I was reading my books, because at that time I was helping an awful lot of people with
oh, yeah.
fertility treatments
Yes.
and
Yes.
couldn't get pregnant.
Yes.
And they said all they wanted to do, they wanted to share my mind when I was reading the books. I said, "Oh, all right." And they said they
Yeah.
would help me. So that was that. Then they were helping me with the
Yeah.
healing. And
Yes.
then what happened after that, Rookie Saeed, it's all right, Rookie, you haven't done anything wrong. Rookie Saeed rang me up from the People, she was in the People paper then, and said, did I believe in aliens? And I said, yeah. And I told her the story. And unfortunately, the editor put the line on it, Randy aliens looking for sex, because I
Oh,
was on about my mother
oh,
went
right.
absolutely berserk because the only paper she got on a Sunday was the People. And there it was, Randy Alien. There was Sergeant Mulder on one side, the X-Files, in the middle of the People paper, and the other side was Carol Everett, Randy Aliens looking for sex. And I said, "Oh my God, I'm going to have all these women, you know, where do I get one?" Oh God, it was so funny. But you've got to have a sense of
Messed it
humour.
up to
That's what
sell the paper.
happened. But I told the truth. And
Yeah.
that was when was that? Oh God, 25 years ago.
Yeah. Because I think when I
But
first met you, you were just before you were doing fertility.
yeah, yeah. And then here, especially since this place has been sealed off more from the house, because this is another one that's been altered. It's a barn. It was a
Yeah.
pigsty, actually, I think. Pig. But
Oh, yeah.
anyway, I don't care.
No.
You know, at the end of the day, it was a building
Yes.
and Mike altered it all and got it all ready, and you
Yeah.
wouldn't know that it was a, a pigsty. But you see what I mean? So it's like I was always moving around and they could never get me still enough in one place because I was always
Yeah.
moving places to work because Mike was renovating buildings and that, and I'd never stayed anywhere long enough. They like to be in the
Settled.
same place.
Yeah. Yes.
They liked you to be in a still place. And this is getting back to, you know, you wouldn't go anywhere and try and communicate with an alien. And
Yeah.
the thing is, if you did, the chances of getting one of any value would be a bit.
Yes. But that's why in the sanctuary you've been able to build up the.
Well, this is it, and this is why I think, you know, this is getting stronger in
Yeah.
here. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not charging loads of money. You know, I'm not charging loads of money to do courses. I mean, the CDs on the helping people to unleash their own energies and get to the right brain. I mean, that is 19.99 on Kindle. That's not
Yeah.
expensive.
No.
And the donation system, if it was any cheaper, they might as well give me a bar of soap. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Everything is designed for the energies, for the people to be part of the energies in a cheap way.
Yes. But it's using your 9 to go into the sanctuary to then be there.
This is it. I mean, I come in here, I'm in here, you know, people are getting the benefit of my life's work. You know, they are coming in here and getting the cream off the cake.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
The icing on the cake.
Yes. I think people to trust that the mind can do that. The mind can go in.
Well, this is it. You know, and at the end of the day, I haven't finished with my mind yet. I mean, how you, if you put a ceiling on something and you say you're finished, well, then that's it. I don't believe that you should say that.
It's always growing and mutating.
Well, yeah, I think I had a lady come to see me years ago from Canada, a scientist. There was a bunch of scientists. I feel really guilty now. I can't say her name, but they wanted to work with me, and what they wanted to work on was on cancer research and anti-aging, because they said I had the answers. But the thing is, they also were interested in cloning, and I didn't like that idea.
Oh, you know.
You know, to me, where's the soul then?
Yes.
Can you imagine picking out the best ones? There's 50 of him. Oh, we don't want none of her. But yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes. Yes.
No, I don't. I think that is going too far. I think, you know, learning and growing and our soul evolving and moving in from one incarnation to the next with a different overcoat is fine. But having 50,000 of imagine 50,000 of Hitlers then, you know? You know, depending on who is in, depending on who is pressing the buttons, depending on what we're going to come out with, doesn't it? And I think that is playing around with stuff that you shouldn't play around with. So I said no.
Yes.
She said, don't you want to earn money? I said, no, not at any cost.
No.
She said, could you sit in a room with me? I said, not for long, no. Well,
back to the horse racing thing, isn't it? It's using it for the wrong reason.
It didn't feel right.
Yeah.
You know, I think we get tested in our lives to see if we deserve the gift that we've got.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
And I think that's any gift as well. It's like if you're, you know, say that you're a real talented artist or dancer or musician.
Yeah.
And you sell yourself.
Yes.
Do something that you know isn't really right, but you need the money.
Yes.
How's your gift going to grow from that?
Yeah. Yes. And also, you know, inside how you feel.
It's horrible. So I think there again, it's always the same thing, isn't it? What you think is what you attract. Who you are is what you think is who you become. What you think is who you become is very, very apt.
Yes.
And this is why I'm not ready for the blue rinse. Are you?
No.
No.
Well, thanks to you.
And so, anyway, this talk, our little chat, Kim and Carol, chatting, is how our opinions are. If people don't think our opinions are worth anything, that's fine. It's true.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes. We're just airing our views.
Yes. And you can you can take it which way you want. Now, next time, what do you think we should talk about next time?
Was it the anti-aging?
We've got anti-aging. We've got the police cases that I was involved with, and you were stuck in the middle. Remember?
Yes.
You always seem to get stuck in the middle. Well, should we think about this? It will either be anti-aging, police cases,
And there's meditation and power of
yeah,
the mind, although we've touched into that.
yeah, the power of the mind. You see, the thing is, every time we have a chat, because everything I do is with my brain, taking my left brain, shutting it and going to the right brain, it all goes into one another.
Yes.
You know, it's very difficult to,
Yeah.
the main theme will be the main theme, but it's easy to bring in the other fringes all the time.
Yes, yes.
You
Yeah.
see? And I think other people's opinions, if you value them, of course,
Yes.
I think a person's opinion is only of value if you value that person's opinion and you
Yeah.
ask for it.
Yes.
Don't you agree?
Yes. Otherwise, it can be detrimental if you take it on and if it's negative. Yeah.
I honestly think that in this talk and in the talk that we did before, people will sit there and think, yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Yes.
They'll get
Yeah.
something out of it.
Yes.
If you think about it, an experience of somebody else, if they're on the journey, they want to know the experience of somebody that's actually done something.
Yes. And it's only talking truthfully. It's only talking as you have experienced. So
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yes.
You know, somebody that's actually done something, not somebody that reads a book, regurgitates it, and people read it.
Yes.
They haven't done it, have they?
No, haven't experienced.
I love listening to people that have done it.
Yes. Yes.
That you can say, well, you know, I can aspire to that. Look what she's done.
Yes.
You know, she's not just spouting out. She's done that,
Yeah.
that. Or
Yeah.
look what he's done. Look how
Yeah.
hard he's worked. I love
Yes.
I love it when somebody, you know, when you see something on somewhere and somebody, you know, they're 89 and they've suddenly got their own song gone out everywhere. There was a dancer that's still tapping away at 101.
But I was going to say, it takes time to build up that experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes, it can't happen overnight. Yes.
Well, I should go and listen to what was said because I don't know. I can't remember now what was said. I hope I haven't said anything too controversial. Have I?
No. No. It's fantastic when you go into the meditation and get the information and just writing it or just speaking it.
You know what it's like these days? We've got to be so careful, Kim. Anyway, thank you for talking to me. And I shall see you soon. And I hope that people will want to look at your website and see what else that you've got to offer, maybe doing talks for them about all, you know, little groups.
Yeah, lovely. Well,
yeah, I think, you know, the audience is really important. If you've got an audience that really wants to know what you've got to say, you're off, aren't you?
Yes, yes.
There's nothing worse than a negative audience, is there? Is there?
No.
Someone who's run on
the same wavelength.
Anyway, it's Friday night.
Yeah,
and
lovely.
You should watch Emmerdale and Coronation Street, so I'll have to watch Catch Up. And what's wrong with that? Emmerdale, Coronation Street. I'm not walking around in a long white robe. Are you?
No.
Anyway, bye. And thank you, everybody, for listening to us. And I hope you've enjoyed our little chats.
Yes. Oh,
okay.
Yes. Thank you, Carol.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye, Carol.